friends, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a makeup tutorial on this look right here. I had a lot of requests for a bronzy tutorial along with pops of color makeup tutorial, so I just combined the two requests and came up with this. I really like how it came out. It looks super pretty, very perfect for spring and summer. And if you guys are interested in seeing how I did it, just keep watching. So I'm starting off with a fresh, clean base, and we're going to jump right into foundation. The foundation I'm using today is the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation. I am wearing the color 420. I really like this foundation. I just talked about it in my current favorites. Very lightweight but nice full coverage, and I love it. I'm just taking this and pumping it like 1 or 2 pumps on the back of my hand. It's like 1.5, and then taking my damp Real Technique sponge, and I'm going to apply it all over the face. I'm going to drag it some down on my neck. This is a really good color match for me, if you can't tell, but it sometimes with powder on top of different foundations it may shift color slightly, so I always bring it down on my neck to make sure there's no mask, no line. So you can see it just looks really nice on the skin. I'm then going to pump one more pump on the back of my hand for my nose, and then to build up any area that I would like a little bit more coverage on. As for concealer, I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer. This is the shade Fair Warm. It is very light. I could probably go down actually a couple shades and get something a little bit darker, but I do like how brightening this is under the eyes, and you'll see how light it is when I apply it. I'm then going to let the concealer underneath my eyes dry just a tad and blend out the other 2 areas of the concealer. And that is my dog barking at things outside. I am going to drag this product up on my eyelids to prime my eyes, because we're not doing anything crazy on the eyes today. As you can see, it's very bright. As I'm blending this out, I'm going to actually flip over to the side that I use for foundation and just make sure I'm blending in the edges of the concealer with my foundation and making sure it looks seamless, since it is such a brighter concealer. Now that that is all blended out, I'm going to go ahead and set my under eye. Today I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder in 05 Fair. I'm going to take this powder and put it on a Luxie 660 Precise Foundation brush. It is just a little bit more of a compact powder brush, and we're just going to pack it on underneath the eyes. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but the powder kind of goes everywhere, which is why I'm wearing this right now. I will change at the end. Then I'm going to just take anything that's on the brush, the excess powder, and set where the other concealer went. Now that my base is set, I'm going to go ahead and jump into contour. For contouring, I'm going to be using the Butter Bronzer in the shade Deep Bronze. We're going to kind of bronze and contour with this, and then go in with another bronzer because this is a very bronzy, summery look. But first, we are going to start with Butter Bronzer from Physicians Formula. I'm going to take this powder and put it on this little brush. This brush actually came in a Benefit Cosmetics blush palette. It's just a little natural haired, like, contour brush. It's not anything special, but it does do the job. I like it enough. And we're going to put some product on the brush, tap it off, and then I'm just going to take this brush and blend it right into the cheekbones, and then start blending up. As you can see, it just creates a nice shadow, and it's not too harsh because the brush blends it a little on its own. I'm then going to go ahead and take this brush again, and we're going to contour our jawline with it. And that's all I'm going to do for contour, so I'm going to go ahead and blend that out with just a flat top powder brush, and then we'll go in with another bronzer to bronze up the skin even more. For bronzer, I'm going to go in with the Too Faced Baked Sweetheart bronzer in the shade Sweet Tea. I love this. I got this when it first came out and it's my favorite. I'm just going to take this powder and put it on a large powder brush, tap off some excess, and we're going to just bronze all over the face. I'm going to start with the cheeks, the temples and forehead. I'm also going to drag this down on my neck on the sides. Before moving on to blush, I'm actually going to contour my nose slightly, and so I'm going to go back in with the Butter Bronzer, and I'm going to put this powder on the Lorac contour brush that came with their contour palette. We're going to put product on the brush, tap off as much excess as you can, and then I'm just going to kind of stamp this on the side of my nose. And it looks a little heavy right now, but we're going to blend it out and kind of compress it with some loose powder. But first we're going to blend with the same flat top brush that I used to blend the other contour with. I'm then going to take the Lorac brush again, but I did clean it off, and I'm going to dip it into this under eye shade from the NYX 3-Step to Sculpt in the color Fair. You could use a loose powder for this. I just like to use this under eye powder instead, and I'm going to put it on that brush, tap off some excess, and then I'm just going to stamp it slightly below where we put that contour to sharpen it up. So I said you could use a loose powder, you could do this on a sponge and kind of bake the sides of your nose, but I'm just going to press this powder into the sides and shape it a little more. I'm also going to take this and place it directly in the middle. It's just going to give it a little bit more shape. For blush, I'm going to jump into the Juvia's Place Sahara Blush Volume 2 palette. I'm going to be using the color Lena, which is this peachy, orangey color here. It's light. I could go in for this orange shade here, but I don't want it too dark, so I'm going to go ahead and try Lena first. I'm going to put this on a Sonia Kashuk powder brush. We're just going to apply it to the cheeks. As you can see, it just brings a little bit more color into the cheeks rather than just bronze, but still the nice warm tones that we're going for. I'm also going to place this a little bit on my forehead and slightly on my nose. I am then going to go ahead and blend that out because we don't want it too harsh. I'm not loving my forehead area, so I'm going to go back in with that under eye shade from the NYX palette and just kind of diffuse everything. I'm also going to go ahead and take that powder and just cut my contour slightly. I'm not doing anything dramatic today, so we're not going to use pressed powder, but you can kind of clean it up and blend everything out. As for highlight, I'm going to go in with the Maybelline Master Chrome in the shade Molten Gold. It is this really pretty gold shade. As you can see, I've hit pan. I love this highlighter so much, and I also really like to use it as a base. It is sometimes a little bit too dark for me. When I do warm, very bronzy looks like this, I can totally wear it on its own, but if I do anything light or cool tone, it sometimes is too dark, so I'll use it as a base and then top it. But we're going to use this as the highlighter since we're going for a very warm bronzy look, and I just have this on a Luxie 522 tapered highlighter brush. I'm also going to take this shade and put it on my forehead because we're going for a very glowy bronzy look, and on my nose. And since you can never have too much highlight, I am going to go in with the Master Chrome in the shade 250. I don't know what the exact name of this is, but it's the 250 one, the one inspired by Nikki Tutorials, but it's in the same line, and you can get it at Ulta, and it's very light, very pretty. I can wear this every day, and I'm going to just top the cheekbones with this at like the highest points of my highlight. I'm then going to blend anything that I think is too much. Like my forehead, I want it to be glowy but not crazy. Everything else though can stay. Before moving on to the eyes, I'm going to go ahead and do my brows off camera. I can do an updated brow routine for you guys if you'd like to see it. If you do want to see that, let me know down below. But as for this tutorial, I'm going to do those off camera and then I will be right back. I did my brows slightly different and I think I kind of like them. I've been letting them grow out and be a little bit more naturally filled. So it only took me like 5 minutes to do them, but I think they look okay, so we're gonna move on to eyes. For eyes, we're gonna do something very simple and bronzy with a pop of color. So I'm gonna start off with the Tartelette Toasted palette by Tarte, and it looks like this, a very pretty warm neutral palette. I'm gonna go ahead and jump in and use the shade Latte, and I'm taking this on a Morphe brush. This is from the set from Ulta. It's the rose gold eye brush set. I can link it down below, but it's just from that. And I'm just gonna start putting this directly in my crease, starting from the outside corner, blending upward and inward. Gonna dip back into Latte, tap off more excess, and repeat. Once I got the outside corner kind of built up, I'm gonna start doing windshield wiper motions toward the inner corner of my eye. And once you've done that, you kind of get this just nice diffused gradient. I'm gonna go ahead and do that on the other eye real quick. Now that I have both eyes blended out, I'm gonna go in with the shade Cozy, which is this very warm chocolate brown. And I don't want anything crazy on the eyes today since I'm doing a pop of color on the lower lash line, but I do want to smoke it out just a tad. So I'm putting this shade Cozy on the rose gold brush from that same Morphe set. It's like the natural haired packing brush. And I'm just gonna tap it on the outer part of my lid, bringing it slightly up into the crease. We're gonna go back and blend this out, but I'm just building it up first just to create some dimension. I'm then gonna go back in with that same brush we used for the shade Latte without any product on it and just slightly blend out the edges of Cozy. I'm gonna take that same blending brush, slightly tap in Cozy, knock off a lot of excess. I want hardly anything on here, and just start blending out the edges with a little bit of product on it now. I'm barely touching my eyelid with the brush, just doing small circular motions and flicking it outwards. I'm then gonna go back in with Latte and blend out the edges while flicking outwards on the outer V of your eye. Before moving on, I'm gonna go in with my Morphe E27. It's just a large blending brush, and I'm just gonna blend all the edges, and I have this brush clean, there's no product on it, and I'm just gonna spend some time blending this shadow and make sure that it looks nice and blown out. As for the lid shade, I'm gonna go in with something very neutral. We're gonna use Sunrise, I think. This is the second shade on the top row, if you're holding it correctly, and it's just a very light shimmer. I'm actually just going to put this on my finger and run this over my eyelid in the front. Yeah, that's what I want. And we're just gonna slightly blend it with everything else. Now that we have that laid down, I'm gonna go back in with that first brush we used for Latte, and I'm actually going to put a little bit of Latte on the brush, tap off excess, and I'm just going to go back and forth lightly right where both of those two shadows meet, just to blend it. So before moving on to the pop of color on the lower lash line, I'm actually going to go ahead and smoke the upper lash line with Cozy, and it's just going to bring the whole eye together, especially on the upper eyelid, and it just gives it a little bit more of a smoldering look. I've been loving this recently. I'm going to just take a angled eyeliner brush. This one's a little bit thicker. I wouldn't necessarily use it for eyeliner, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was supposed to be intended for. Just an angular small brush, and I'm gonna go ahead and dip this in Cozy again, which was that warm chocolate brown. And what I'm going to do is lightly align my eyelid on the top. So I'm going to start on the outer part of my eye and then just lightly dust it all the way to the inside corner. And it's okay if it's a little messy because you can go back in and blend it in with the eyeshadow since it's an eye shadow as well. It's very easy to fix. As you can see on this eye, it just looks a little bit more smoky, and this shade is very, very warm. So I might go back in with the shade Fireside, which is the really dark shade. I don't know how to show you guys, it's probably here. This shade, I might go back in with this and lightly line that as well, but it looks very, very pretty. So I am gonna go ahead and just dip into Fireside before doing the other side of my eye. And I'm just gonna put this on the outer part. So this is the eye with the upper eyelid smoked out with the eyeshadow, and then this is without. I just feel like it really ties everything together and adds just a tiny more dimension. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side. So if you're more of a neutral person, you could go ahead and smoke out your bottom lash line with a brown from whatever palette you were using and throw it on some lashes and be good to go. But for this tutorial, I wanted to do a fun pop of color. My favorite tones to use for pops of color, especially when it comes to eyes, are blue and teal. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump over to my Almar Cosmetics eyeshadow palette. It's their volume 1. I don't know how to pronounce it very well, but I'll put it here on screen. And I think I am going to jump in and use this really pretty blue teal. So I'm gonna start off with that. Before I apply that eyeshadow, I'm actually gonna go in with my Makeup Geek eyeliner. This is from their Full Spectrum line, and the color is in mint. It's just like a mint blue. And I'm gonna go ahead and line my lower lash line and just kind of smudge it out first before putting any eyeshadow on there. I'm applying this pencil on my waterline along with on my lashes basically, and kind of smudging it underneath as well. I just went through my makeup collection and got rid of a lot of stuff and downsizing because we're gonna move soon. And I came across these pencils and I realized I hadn't used them in a while, and I do love them. They're so creamy. So I thought it'd be a fun addition to this look. Now that I have the eyeliner laid down, I'm gonna go in with that shade named Celia, I think. I don't know, I'm probably not pronouncing that right, but it's this really pretty shimmer teal shade, and I'm gonna put this on the Vintage Cosmetics Company Step 3 brush. Not very specific, but it's just a very small packing brush. And we're going to smoke out the lower lash line. I'm actually gonna go in with a different brush. I don't like how that one was working. This is just a small, precise, fluffy brush. It's actually a brush from Walmart, I'm pretty sure, so it doesn't have a name or number, but I'm going to coat it and just buff out the lower lash line somewhere with that same teal shade. So this is what I have for the lower lash line so far. I do like it, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and jump into the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette, and I'm gonna use her shade Jada, which is the matte teal shade. And I'm just gonna put that on the same small fluffy brush and buff out the lower lash line. So that brought it all together. I really like how that turned out. So now we're gonna go ahead and put the inner corner highlight on and throw on some lashes. For the inner corner highlight, I'm gonna go in with the Morphe Jaclyn Hill Vault collection, and this is her palette Armed and Gorgeous. And I'm gonna go in with the shade VIP, which is the very light white shimmer. It's my favorite shade to use as an inner corner highlight. And I'm just going to put this on my pinky, and I'm going to dot it into the inner corner, and as you can see, it is blinding. It is so gorgeous. I use it every time I do my makeup. I'm then gonna go ahead and throw on some lashes off camera. This is from boldfacemakeup.com. This is in their Muse collection, and it's the style Thrill Seeker. They're so pretty. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw those on, and then we will come back and finish the lip. As you can see, I went ahead and put my lashes on, but also changed and straightened my hair and threw on some earrings. So now we are ready for lips. For an eye look like this, there's actually two ways that I would normally go. The first one would be a hot orange lip. Something that would look really pretty with this eye look would be this shade from Dose of Colors. It's Hot Fire, the Desi and Katie collab. It would be so, so pretty if This is not available, I don't think, anymore. You can also get the Kathleen Lights Ultra Satin in the color Riviera. I think that's how you pronounce it. It is an ultra satin and not matte like this, but the shade colors are very, very similar, and it would look so good with this look. But since I'm wearing a hot pink shirt, I think I'm gonna go ahead and do my second option. As for the second option, I'm gonna do a very like nude pink glossy lip. I don't know what shade I'm gonna use yet, so I'm gonna go ahead and just line my lips, and then we will pick a lipstick. For liner, I'm gonna use the NYX lip liner in the color Nude Pink. So this is what the liner looks like. I just have my lips outlined, but I actually think I'm gonna go ahead and fill in the lips with this color and then go over with a clear gloss. Now that we have the lips completely lined and filled in, I'm gonna top it with the Makeup Revolution's lip gloss or lip topper in the color Exquisite. It's just a clear, sparkly gloss, and it's got silver rose gold reflex. It's really pretty. And then last but not least, I need to set my face, and I'm just using the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. My favorite, the only thing I use. And I'm just using my little travel one for now. And that is it for this very bronzy pop of color makeup tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!